Are you ready for some sports?
At least. At least, man.
Ouch! That's right, let's bump heads. It's time for New Sports. Written and directed by Victor Allen. Come on, you guys. The bald-headed black man, rub his head and make a wish. The ladies have nicknamed him Sexual Chocolate, and he brings to you his unique fan-based view of sports. Here every day, have it your way. Here's sports! Yeah.
I'm going to ask a question that's not on my topics, just off the top of your head, and it deals with football, and it's really simple. Who should be freaking out? Which city should be freaking out right now? Philly, Atlanta, or Oakland? Freaking out. Because there's always a second half of the season. But this is the first half, going into the next game before we get to not the halfway point, a couple of games down. Who should be freaking out? 1-4 Atlanta now. Okay. Philly only got a couple of games. I'm just hitting this as a query between you and I before I go to my topics.
I think Atlanta needs to be freaking out.
Yes, you hit the nail on the head.
I think Atlanta needs to be freaking out.
They have to sit there and go.
How do they do that? First of all, they had that embarrassing Super Bowl loss.
Right.
To be the person who blew the lead. Now they have this.
Their window have already gone behind them. They're done. They're done. I hate to say it. They're done as it relates to going back to the Super Bowl. I don't think that they're done as it relates to hitting a switch and they may win some games this season, but I would be freaking out more than Philly. I think Philly's just having what they call, hangover until they hit the button. Okay. Now, I always say this. If you had a chance to watch a sport from beginning to end uninterrupted, would you watch baseball or MMA?
MMA.
Easy. Okay. So here's my question.
Of the two choices that I would not watch.
No, man. First of all, don't do that, man. You'll lose some. This is it. All right. Okay. Look, everybody knows about the fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov, who defeated Conor McGregor, the number one in the lightweight UFC heavyweight division. Everybody knows. So I'm not bringing any new subject material to this. But I will read off for those who may not know about Khabib and a little bit of his background, because we ain't got to talk about Conor, because the whole thing about it is that Conor does a great job of shouting, blasting, and wreaking havoc. So everybody's talking about the post-fight, and the post-fight is probably more the subject, because if you're Conor McGregor, you have to ask yourself, why are people still interested why he's losing? So if you look at the last 3 to 4 fights,
he's making bucks.
He's lost the fights. So you end up going, why does he continually stimulate you to watch him? So in the UFC,
he talks a lot of shit.
Thank you. Now, let me just give you a little bit about Khabib, because then nobody knows too much about him. Okay, Khabib defended his 155-pound championship at UFC 229 by submitting Conor McGregor, who's 21-4, with a tap out, or what they call a rear naked choke. Basically, you give up. You're out. All right? So, here's the issue. I think people don't know who Khabib is. So, let me give you some background on him, because I think he just made his splash, not because he won the fight. It's because of what he did after the fight. But before I go there, Khabib is a Russian mixed martial artist of Avar descent. He's a 2-time combat sambo world champion and currently holds the longest undefeated streak in MMA with 27 wins. The reigning UFC lightweight champion. He is the first Russian and the first Muslim to win a UFC title. This guy he dominated the fight. So here's the part that everybody's talking about. Of course, Conor has a mouth. Okay? Talked about his parents, his heritage, his religion. He talked about everything. Khabib, after tapping out Conor, they already had security set up, Mario, around, how the teams always get into a battle. They always want to get in a shoving battle. It's just like, hey, whose team is holding it down? So they set up security to make sure the teams didn't get out of control being in the same proximity. They didn't think Khabib would jump out of the octagon soon as he won to attack the trainer and the team. If you guys want to go see the videos, go see the videos. This has no comparison to the scandal of Detroit Pistons, the basketball game where, of course, Meta World Peace goes in, This is not.
This is way
you have to go see the videos to get a sense of this man was going out for blood. Now, here's my question. Now that you guys already know this, you want to see Conor fight again on a rematch? If you saw this happen, is that enough to get you to go, well, do you rather see him go whoop the team's and trainer's ass, Khabib, or go in and put a beat down on Conor because he's going to put a beat down on Conor again? But is it worth the fight to see the extra, excuse my language, shit that's wrapped around it?
They better make sure how they package it. Make sure they get the most for their dollar.
Wait a minute. Would you want to go see it, though? I mean, when I say that, Mar, I know you're probably not going to do the pay-per-view.
I mean, if I had to see a mixed martial art event, at least this one has more of the trappings.
Right.
I guess.
Because if you go see it, people get into...
I know PMC would do it. He's already...
Right. Hey, look, I'm only saying now, I wasn't paying attention to the fight because I did look at the rankings. They're already saying that he probably right now is the 8th best Khabib pound for pound fighter in UFC right now. Maybe historically, I'm not sure. But I won't gauge that if you're saying, well, Conor McGregor is all that. Because nobody hyped up that this is the man that Conor brings into the ring. What he keeps bringing into the ring is his bombasticness, the show. Isn't that more interesting? Isn't that cultivating you more?
That's, like I said, that's how he's stirring the pot, because he makes you want to see it based on that stuff.
Right.
Which is, Ali was the master of that, too.
Absolutely. And he has cashed in and said, all I have to do is open my mouth, be disrespectful, talk about your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brothers, your cousins, and everybody else, and you guys can't get enough of me. My question is that nobody's talking about how good of a fighter he may be. And Conor's already lost some matches. So am I looking forward to this next? Not really. I'd rather see the next man up who can battle with Khabib. So at least we now know that Mario would rather watch this than to watch baseball, right?
Exactly.
That's cool. All right, going to take you over to what I call the NFL Rookie Quarterback Challenge, man. Somewhere along the way, Mario has deep pockets. He got money to spend. And he says, look, somebody's going like this, man. I'll give you 5-1 on a bet. If you could pick which quarterback is more likely to get into the playoffs, and here are the 4 based on the team record and passer rating. I got Baker, Mayfield, Cleveland. They're at 2-2-1. He has an 81.3 QBR. Josh Allen, Buffalo. They're at 2-3, 63.8 QBR. Josh Rosen, Arizona. They're 1-4, 72.7 QBR. And Sam Darnold, who the Jets did a great job with Denver for the night, at 2-3, 72.6. Now, Mar, I'm gonna give you time. I'm gonna let you sit there because below this, you can literally go, well, I don't know their records. And if you want to spend that time doing it, which I think you already got wisdom.
Yeah, because I think right now there's a clear distinction between the two. I mean the 4. There's 2 separate.
Baker looks
I
good.
think that Baker, even though Cleveland's struggling, like they're getting better.
Right.
New York, even though they may not be getting better, they're at least dealing effectively with some issues to mobilize some parts of their system. So that's still sort of a positive, even not while struggling. Mm-hmm. Then you got Buffalo and
they're making
Arizona.
Buffalo's coming around.
Well, the worst of this bunch is Arizona, who doesn't like they're going to do anything.
Right.
And Buffalo will have to see.
All right.
But those are the 2 that they distinctly, to me, down and then down.
Okay, so if you had to put a money bet on a quarterback that is more than likely going to get into the playoffs, are you picking Baker Mayfield versus Sam Darnold? Is it between those two?
Oh, none of these are getting in the playoffs.
None. Oh, so you ain't making a bet.
You think they're going to get in the playoffs?
Look at the records. Because no team is really, I mean, the only team
I don't think none of these are getting in the playoffs.
You don't think any of them getting close to it? Okay.
No.
Wow.
No, I think the team that beat is the Patriots. Then coming out of, the Miami looks good.
Right.
So that gets rid of the Jets and Buffalo. They're not any kind of contender in that.
Right.
In terms of Cleveland, no, they can't beat Cincinnati. They can't. No. And in Arizona, that's no chance anyway.
Wait
so none of these are making the playoffs.
That's jacked
None
up.
of them.
No, okay.
None of them.
I'm gonna give
Done deal.
Wait, I believe there's the what they call that sometimes you make it in by default because the teams beat up on each other. I think Cleveland has a really good chance because you just can't put your finger on Baltimore, Pittsburgh. And if they keep beating up on each other, and Cleveland right now already is going, we got 2 wins and more wins than we've had in the last 3 years. And it's all because of the quarterback.
If these are teams where you're hoping they can play 500 ball.
Right.
And if that gets you in the playoffs, geez.
Right.
These are all like, no offense.
Right.
If Cleveland's in the playoffs, what does that say about that division?
Right.
What does that say about the Steelers?
The Steelers, everybody may be celebrating about the Steelers because they said, wow, we put that whoop ass on Atlanta. But should you be judging the Steelers based on this team that's won 1 game only? So is that a false
Maybe it's just too early. But I definitely don't see none of these 4 quarterbacks making the playoffs.
And let me say this. I do believe this. The pros, the seasoned vets, they pace themselves. And then they turn it on. If your injuries are out of the way in that second half of the season, I think they raise the level. I'm still going to go that Cleveland is a closer bet. Hard for me to, I will say next, Sam Darnold, New York Jets. But money bet, because of the passer rating, I'll go with Baker Mayfield right now, man. That's it.
Go with him to do what?
To possibly get the best chance of getting in the playoffs. Yeah. I'm going to say it.
The best chance of a losing group that you have here.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's no chance.
You know what?
The other ones have negative chances.
Wait a minute.
Negative.
Is Pittsburgh
negative 15 chance.
Is Pittsburgh going to make it to the playoffs?
They may.
No, because you got Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Cincinnati.
I don't think so. They as a wild card. I think it's going to be Cincinnati.
It's going to be Cincinnati. Okay. All right.
So who's the wild card? I don't know coming out of there.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hey, look, I want to do a little props and recognition because we already kind of touched a little subject, and we're going to hit it again. I'd say break them off NFL and Brothers Watt. This is kind of rare. J.J. Watt and his brother, different teams now, both are tied for the league in sacks. Did you even know that he had a brother in the league, man?
Yeah.
Pretty good, man. 6 sacks.
Yeah, because he had a good game. He just had a good game.
And he's with Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of those things that I wonder could they make history, 2 brothers at the end of the season, leading the league in sacks. I'm not saying it's going to be there because Lawrence in Dallas.
There's another team that has 2 brothers.
Yes, it's a couple. Yeah. But this is rare. Because you want, just to make it in the top 5 in the sack list, but to have your younger brother in there as well. Got to give him props, man. Got to give him a whole bunch of props. All right, want to do that, break them off. Mario, you already addressed the Eagles and Falcons being a problem. You watched the Raiders, man?
Yeah, I watched it.
Did you see? Is this more of is the LA Chargers like that? Are they that good?
They're that much better than the other folks.
Wait a minute. Is Gruden back on the hot seat? They look bad yesterday, dude. Let me tell you something. They look.
You know,
It looks bad. They're giving up the most points.
I
second
don't.
most
I
points in the
think
league.
that Gruden, based on the history, gets more of a not a pass, but he gets more of an extension than most. So that's why only. Yeah, I agree with how they're doing.
Right.
I think people are still willing to give him a chance.
Okay. Did you expect him to have a 1-4 record?
No.
Do you think they'll win the second game before they get to the halfway point? Because it looks worse.
Yeah, they look bad. I don't know.
Okay.
Again, you look at this is off.
What's wrong?
I was trying to look at this chart, but this
Oh, yeah, it's off. You know what? Whenever that's just for your reference
it
because
doesn't line up.
It lines
like
up,
New
right?
England, is that?
Yeah, the top. Just I'm really focusing on the teams that are at the
Okay,
bottom. When you go to the bottom,
So 1-4, okay.
yeah.
So no, I expect them to do better. There are things that look good. There, Carr can do it. He just had a bad.
Oh, they're on him.
They had a bad moment. First of all, he was going like he had some real high percentage going of completions.
Right.
Before he threw the interception.
Exceptions, right. I think what they're
He had 17 in a row complete. He was something. He had some ridiculous. He had set a completion mark.
You know who I
And
feel.
then he threw interception.
You know who I feel bad for?
Who?
Marshawn Lynch.
Because he yelled into his helmet. What was all that about? I don't know.
Wait. Look, man. Look. Do you know you get to a point where you go like, so the team, Oakland basically is about to go. So by the time you guys get better with this, you guys will be in Las Vegas. So is this the way you're going out? And I'm saying right offhand here, will the Raiders win more than 4 games this year?
Yes.
5.
Mate, there you go.
So they're not going to play 500 ball, you're saying?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay. The team, I'm going to sit back behind Kansas City.
I think that Indianapolis and Oakland are going to do better, but I need to look at the schedules to tell you exactly.
Okay. I got you. All right. Washington, New Orleans, I'm going to get into that later. That's Monday night. By the time you guys even see this video, the game will already have been done. But if you had to pick who wins, that's kind of could be a toss-em. That's a hard one for me, man.
Who's playing for
Washington and New Orleans tonight.
New Orleans.
Sometimes it's just hard. It's hard to go against Breeze. It is hard, man. It's hard.
Well, Washington, like I said, I think is going to have some issues until they change their name.
Okay, you know it. I think I think they've already gone beyond that. I really do. I think we done with that, man.
Well, I mean, they still have the name.
Yes, they still have the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All right, gonna get into the area that Mario calls one of his top 50 sports. Battle bots. Okay? So the reason why I'm doing this because there was a recent Battle Bots Championship. The last time I reported, they were actually heading into from the top 16 to the final 8. And now they got down to the final 4, and then they eventually had a champion. Now, it's not who you're watching here. That's Bronco. Bronco issuing that destruction. He got upset in the round of 16. Not a problem. We want to take you to the 2 finalists. So let's go on and scroll so we can take you to the first finalist because Brazil has a team that that whole nation's behind this guy. And I've kind of picked them because they're the smallest bot out of all the bots as it relates to the power they exert, and that's Minotaur. Minotaur was going against another finalist who just got a great name. So let's scroll to, and he's already won this championship a couple of years ago, Bite Force. And Bite Force is in the white, of course, because, you can see basically he's in flip mode. He's flipping mode. So, Mar, before you scroll, Minotaur, who's just that 70-pound drummer, it's a 70-pound drummer that spins, that wreaks havoc. Although it's a smaller drummer, well, it's kind of a wedge drummer. On Bite Force, who do you think won?
You know what I'm still trying to understand what the rules are.
Rules are you have 3 minutes to get into battle. If and who causes the most destruction? The first goal is if you destroy the weapon, you definitely have an advantage. You can go the whole 3 minutes and the battle is over. But who causes the more destruction, and or if you're immobilized and you can't move, they count you out. You have 10 seconds. If your battle bot gets stuck for some reason, doesn't work, chains broke, engines burning up, 10 seconds count you out as a knockout. So typically these battle bots in the playoffs are knocking each other out. It's literally going there. There is no...
Like if they turn you over, what does that count as?
Some have what they call... The turnover is not a bad issue. Like right here, you could see that it immobilizes this particular competition. I forgot who's... I don't know if that's Yeti or not. But some of these battle bots have what they call these mechanisms where they can right themselves. So righting yourselves can get you continuous in battling. And so it's really... How do you immobilize the competition? If you don't, who causes the most destruction? And then they take it to a vote. There's 3 judges who will literally go and say, we are going to vote who we thought or think won the battle. But when you're in the playoffs, when you get to the final 4, final 8, there is no, it's like they're wreaking havoc. And it's a great battle. So these competitions you're seeing on the screen, they're not part of the quarterfinals, semifinals. This is footage just showing you who were the final 2. They're going to show you the footage between Minotaur and Bite Force later, because they're still showing the programs on TV. Who do you think won? Bite Force, who got a nice little drummer flips, or Minotaur, who literally...
I don't even see what Minotaur's weapon is.
Scroll back up.
Where is their weapon?
There it is. Go now. See that gold drum? That's a 70-pound drummer that spins at a high rate of speed.
Oh, it's a big old grinder.
Yes, it is, and it just has this thing where it gets under your bot. If it gets under you, it's like somebody's chasing you and getting under your feet and launching you. And the drummer spins. And so it literally, how it wins is it's almost that drummer itself.
So it has a lot of this has to do with materials, because this one,
right,
I guess that's their spinning.
That's theirs in the middle. It spins in a more vertical fashion, but it's more of a wedge than the drum. And now the centrifugal force.
Yeah, I'll vote for a Bite Force.
Let's see if you got it. Scroll to the next picture and let's see who won. Bam. You got him. Bite Force, 2-time champion. Low to the ground, has a spinner. It's something about what he does with that. I don't know how he gets the leverage, and I think everybody now has figured it out. Keep your bot low, have those forks in front to offset drummers, because most of the battle bots have drummers, different types.
And the other thing, I'd be curious which way they had their saws turning, whether they're turning this way
and
or that way. This way would tend to throw people up in the air.
Right. You got it.
This one would turn, but so I'm sure they have difference of opinions
you
about how they work all of that.
You're good, Mario. That's exactly the difference with Bite Force. The different drummers spin different directions depending on the competition, depending on who their competition is. And sometimes they can exchange parts and add parts because each round you go against someone different. So Bite Force is double-time champion. They're considered the New England Patriots of BattleBots. So I just want to let you know.
Your materials are very important. I wonder what they use it.
Oh, man, all kinds of stuff. And if you guys want to find out more, go to battlebots.com. This season, they're going to keep replaying the playoffs. I'm going to take you over now to, I just didn't even know this was happening. It just started a couple of days ago. I didn't know Buenos Aires 2018 Youth Olympic Games were on and popping. They are. They are because they have their own type of what you call Olympics for young folks. It lasts for about a few weeks. I'm showing you an example of futsal. It's a variant of association football played on a hard court, smaller than a football pitch, and mainly indoors. It can be considered a version of live or five-a-side football. Futsal is played between two teams of 5 players each, one of whom is the goalkeeper. The reason why I didn't say a new sport on this one is because it really kind of mimics soccer. And
it's like the indoor version of soccer, like
Right.
the football had their indoor arena league.
there you go.
The arena league version, but it looks really interesting to me.
It is. It is very interesting, and believe it or not, this is the part where I'm saying, I think when young people want to say, look, should we wait around for the traditional sports to come into our country? May take 50 years. Here's the sports that we want. Well, there are 3 new sports that the Olympic Committee, the official Olympic Committee, has now entered into this particular Youth Olympics game. 3 of them, and you're going to tell me which one you think will make it into the major Olympics if it does. Karate, sport climbing, sport climbing, and breaking. So let's take you down so you could see, let's scroll down so you could actually see the one that I just didn't think that they were going to make this a sport. So the spinning style, which is breaking, is something that we all know about. I mean, breaking's been around for a hell of a long time. But the spinning, twisting style of street dance is one of the 3 new sports added to the 2018 Youth Olympic Games in Buenos Aires by the International Olympic Committee. Breakdancers competed one-on-one trying to one-up each other with their dance moves. Each round is judged by creativity, personality, technique, variety, performativity, and musicality. The rules state. So is it subjective? Yes, it is. The crowd sits there. Yes. The 2 people are actually battling against each other. Do you believe this sport will live on and have even more success? Or will another sport tend to be the one that gets in between sport climbing, karate, and breaking?
Well, I predict they'll have more success. Maybe not in the Olympics, though.
You don't think they'll make it there?
Well, it's interesting because you get to be a trial sport.
Right.
Because I thought karate was already in. They previously were whatever you call it when you get to be a trial.
Right.
Like you get to come in for
It was.
Yes, that's why I thought karate was in, but it goes to show you. Now, that's not to put down the legitimacy of this.
Right.
But the first thing you have to do is establish judge and some kind of criteria.
Right.
So those kinds of things. So I think just getting a chance to see it is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
Whether or not it continues, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the part I don't know, Vic, but I certainly look forward to seeing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was somewhat interested in this because we look at breaking going way back to the 80s.
Who's going to judge?
Well, see, that's the funny part about it.
That's part of the whole thing.
They got some rules on the judges. That's why I said you have to kind of look.
Yeah, because what happens is at some point someone has to decide someone's an expert.
Right.
And that's always subjective.
Absolutely.
So especially in the beginning where you don't have, a history of people. So
yeah. All right, you guys. Hey, taking you through that was it. Hey, new sports in the Olympics. Love what they're doing in Buenos Aires. I wish I was there. I'm watching some of it. It goes on for the next couple of weeks, so check it out if you can. Man, I'm done with my sports, man. You know that, right? I have nothing else to do.
Victor Allen's New Sports, recurring segment of the Morning Cowboy with Mario show. You can catch it every Monday. Beginning of part 2 of the Morning Cowboy show. Written and directed by Victor Allen. Rub his head, make a wish. We tell you, dress appropriately. Sports bras and jock straps. For everyone. We want everyone in jock straps. You ladies will get confused, but you'll get used to it.